there's a lot of time for things to change. But Wednesday just looks pretty good at the moment. Might be a bit of DFS is pretty good with that too. The Euro is the weakest of them all. The DFS and the RAM both are aggressive for Wednesday's sports trends. I think the Euro's a little slow. I think the Euro is a little bit too. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, there's a difference to see what these things are. Just being your safe spot there. Something I have to touch on here is the heat risk. There is a crazy heat wave that is going to be impacting the eastern United States and eastern Midwest. This is the CDC's outlook. This could be potentially hazardous, likely hazardous heat. We're talking upwards of some spots 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very, very serious. Across the Midwest and eastern U.S. This does barely include Ireland, but also the entire state of Ohio under that high risk for hazardous temperatures. Potentially upwards of, like I said, 105 degrees Fahrenheit will be possible going into next week. This is actually next. Weird to see them have such high confidence there. I mean, yeah. Actually, you know what? The newest model does indicate potentially upwards of 115 degrees Fahrenheit in some spots. With the heat index. Without heat index, about 100. Gracious. Much of that, actually, the best chance I see for 100 that actually plus degrees Fahrenheit is the East Coast. I see it like right in here looks to be the absolute best chance. Yikes. So definitely plan around that. For sure, plan around that. I'll probably be busy that. When is that? Tuesday? Okay, that's not the weekend. That's I'll be busy on the 28th. Towards it. So good look. I don't know why WeatherWise's satellite's always delayed, but yeah, let's go over here. Yeah, it's just their satellite's always delayed. It's always delayed. So here's a closer look. And you can see we definitely have a low pressure organizing for sure. Very broad, definitely a very, very broad low. I mean, very broad, but you can tell it's starting to circulate a little bit more. Very weak on that southern side of your low there. And we should see a tropical storm, likely a hurricane, develop out of this. Possibly there is a chance we could see upwards of a major. There is a chance for a major hurricane out of this. So if that does occur, we will be doing multiple update live streams on this. Probably at least 1 to 2 live streams on this if it does look like a major hurricane for Mexico. Take a look at our ensembles here, just our model runs as a whole. You can see Most have it getting to a Cat 1, pushing Cat 2 status, but our newest hurricane models, the H4, pull out the H4, that does show a borderline Category 3 hurricane just off the coast of Mexico here Thursday afternoon. Now, other models, this is something we really want to watch. The HAFSA model run has it making landfall Thursday very early in the morning. Like, we're talking about probably about a 5 a.m. Eastern time landfall here in Mexico. That's a big difference. Literally an 18-hour difference in landfall. That could be the difference between a weak Category 1 and a major low-end Category 3 hurricane with this system. So we're going to have to watch that timing. Right now, the HMON, that is definitely a Category 3 there. 9 is 63 millibars. So the HMON, the H4 have it making landfall Thursday late in the afternoon into the evening. The HAFSA and B have it making landfall Thursday morning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Definitely going to play a big factor in if this becomes a major hurricane or not. Either way, it's going to be a named storm. I can guarantee it's going to become a tropical storm sometime Wednesday. Most likely about 2 days from now, we'll likely end up with a tropical storm out of that. I can pretty much guarantee that. Yeah, so probably just some very weak areas of rotation here. So tornadoes, notice the plural there. Tornadoes, and not just one, but multiple tornadoes could drop out of this as it moves up to the northeast. So be in your safe spot. There's likely multiple different areas of rotation here capable of producing multiple tornadoes in this region. And again, that is from Park Rapids back down to Deer Creek, east into Huntersville in north central Minnesota. Let's see here. What are we talking about in chat already? Bench presses? Man, don't even get me started on that stuff. I'm too tired to talk about working out. Capybara, are you talking about today or tomorrow? Are you talking about tomorrow? I don't think you'd be talking about today. Yeah, because, yeah, okay, I figured you were talking about tomorrow's. I don't think the tornado threat will be that high with the thunderstorms that initially fire. I think it's going to be with the MCS / the derecho potential. Of course I will, yeah. MRMS is one of the features. Literally the other day I was talking to Lucky about it. I said I wish Weatherwise would add MRMS because that would really help with figuring out like exactly how many storms have fired in Virginia, North Carolina, because we were dealing with this right here, and me and Lucky were wondering, we're like, how many storms are there even in this area? So we were having to switch between, 3 different radar sites, Blacksburg, Raleigh's, and then Jacksonville's. And then, sure enough, 3 days later, there's MRMS. I think there is a chance for a strong tornado today and tomorrow, but I don't think it's high enough for either one to go enhanced for tornadoes at the moment. You'll never know, Caleb. You'll never know. Clickbait in the Eastern Pacific has gotten. I haven't seen one thing, but then again, I ain't been on here much at all. I've been, the last 2 days, it's been chaotic. It has been very chaotic. I haven't watched much YouTube or been involved much in the weather community. Man, I didn't post on Twitter for like almost 3 days straight. Today as a whole is definitely more conditional for a tornado threat. I do see why they have the 5% tornado risk out today. But in my opinion, though, with the lower level wind shear, it's just so poor. The lower level wind shear is so poor that I don't expect like a crazy tornado threat, or probably not even something that's 5% worthy. Let's see, where is this located here? So it's about... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the wind shear is just... It's so much lower than what models were indicating. Let me see here. All right, so the HRRR was thinking right now we would have about 200, at least 150, but upwards of 200 helicity out here. And in reality, if I take a sounding on the RAP Mezzo, we only got about 90. So literally about half to possibly even under half of what the HRRR was showing. Let me see. Okay. That might be... So that's just came across my feed, an area forecast discussion from the Southeastern Pennsylvania National Weather Service. And they mention a higher end severe weather event with numerous instances of damaging winds could be possible, but confidence regarding these details is still not high enough, as well as on the timing of the front. So they already mentioned that wording sounds like an enhanced risk wording right there. So we'll probably see an enhanced risk in Pennsylvania, like I was saying before, for Thursday. But like I said, also don't think that's going to stretch into Virginia, North Carolina. TRG, this is a bit specific, but do you think if cells remain semi-discrete just enough tomorrow, even with a surface inversion, they may drill through it and still produce tornadoes? I think the main tornado threat is definitely going to end up being with our line. And there's a lot of questions on how that semi-discrete convection evolves there. But from what I see, that is completely... The new HRRR, everything north is just fully elevated. It is just fully elevated north. You can see this is your boundary right here. So surface-based convection for tomorrow, portrayed by the HRRR, has to be south of this boundary. Generally south of that. And if we take a look north, 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 everything stays north. And then by the time we get to the overnight hours, that boundary has pushed even way more to the south there. Actually more like this. And that's going to be when storms have the best chance to produce tornadoes. But even then, likely damaging winds will be the main concern. So all of that, this is just big time hail. Like, this is probably 3 to 4 inch hail, 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. And you could see a spin up tornado, but the tornado threat should be fairly low with them. It's just going to be some kicking large hail. I don't know if the NAM... Yeah, the NAM doesn't portray that bad of an environment in terms of how sharp that boundary is. Am I looking at the wrong day? Nope, I'm looking at the right day. The NAM just fully backed off on any big-time windbag, didn't it? Yeah, the NAM just fully backed off on any crazy windbag. It still has some damaging wind potential there. Yeah, see, that would definitely have a higher tornado threat if storms fired late in the evening and were fully upscale by the time the sun completely sets out here in Kansas. And then that lower level jet cranks into the overnight hours and you get a bunch of spin-up tornado action there. But that's not what the HRRR says. So a lot of uncertainty on the timing there. And the timing and placement of that boundary and the storms is going to be absolutely everything. There we go. "27 minutes remain on this very disorganized storm." I've pressed the wrong button, so... Okay, there you go. It didn't pop up. Yeah, very disorganized thunderstorms out here. Caleb, you still talking about working out over there? This ain't gym class, dude. This is a weather live stream. A lot of severes out here in Mississippi as well. 3 severes for these storms in east central Mississippi, mainly for wind, but could see some small hail out of them. Scattered severes, currently just 1 in southeast Texas. Anything up in Montana, special weather statement. Random severe southeast South Dakota. Yeah, like I said before, there's a lot of uncertainty on if any convection will be able to develop in this area. So if I were chasing today, I would definitely target pretty much on the surface low. I would not be anywhere south of the Twin Cities for today. Although I do think there is a chance we could see a spin-up tornado or two if convection can get going in this area. But that will likely be after 6 o'clock Eastern. Right now, like I said, just your wind shear is underperforming a lot. And I believe that's going to lead to these storms not being able to intensify as quickly. Remember, wind shear also plays a role in intensification, too. It's not just with rotating thunderstorms, but also with sustaining updrafts. And if you don't have a lot of wind shear, for instance, surface to 3 kilometer wind shear in this area is about 35. That's pretty good. That's okay. Like, that's enough to sustain thunderstorms. But in the surface to 1 kilometer, looking at about 10, just 10 surface to 1 kilometer bulk wind shear. And then surface to 1 kilometer helicity is barely even pushing 90. So still 1 active tornado warning away from our good radar sites out here in Minnesota. We'll just continue to watch that as best as we can. But these storms are about to enter the enhanced risk for severe weather across Minnesota. So... yeah, the main event today, for those who may be wondering, the main time frame for today's event is 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Maybe, yeah, about 6 o'clock. Maybe 5. Maybe 5 to 9. Either 5 to 9 or 6 to 9. One or the other. New severe northeastern Nebraska for Crofton, Hardington for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for the next 38 minutes. Activated your Siri. My AI just activates out of nowhere. It won't even be close to its name, and it just pops up and starts yelling at me. No. Yeah, but this is the new MRMS on WeatherWise for those who may not have seen it. And boy, do they have a lot of stuff. So one of the best things, in my opinion, is... let me see if I can find it here. Which one was it? I forgot which one it was. Let's see. There's so much. I mean, you have an absurd amount of rotation tracks. It's just insane, all the products that you can explore on here. Those are your hail swaths over the last 60 minutes. And you can see definitely hail in southeast South Dakota. Some very scattered hailstones across a good chunk of the U.S. Very scattered hail. You could even do hail swaths for the last 1,440 minutes. Don't ask me how long that is, because I have no idea. Try to do math in my head. What? That's about that should be about like a day, right? It is a day. That is a day. Wow, that is a day. Yeah, so they have all the hail probabilities. They have echo tops too on here. They have reflectivity maximums, composite maximums, reflectivity in the lowest 24,000 feet, reflectivity from 24,000 to 60,000 feet, reflectivity from 33 to 60,000 feet. Like I said, bunch of rotation tracks. Lightning. Seems like the lightning is down though at the moment, but lightning was it. One of these was really awesome. Seems like it's a bit broken right now. I think it was this. It's broken. Rest in peace. Yeah, this was it right here. Flash density for 1 hour. But it hasn't updated in like 2 hours.
The land there, Corey Gerken. Thanks again for this quick update.
And again, you can go back 6 hours on that too. Look at all the lightning. Now that's from about 12 to 18, so about give or take 8 a.m. Wow, they've added probably 30 some new products, as well as MRMS here. Just today on Weatherwise. And not only that, they added a completely new section here. We have Alaska now. We have Hawaii, and I haven't seen radars in Alaska, but now we have them in Alaska for MRMS. Hawaii, we've had radars there, but now there's MRMS on Weatherwise there. The Caribbean, so once we get a hurricane in the Caribbean, we'll be able to see that from MRMS on Weatherwise. And all the way back out in Guam, all have MRMS. And of course, the entire continental lower 48 states here in the U.S. And that also goes into a very small portion of Canada, too. Looks like the far southern provinces. So, a lot of new stuff. A lot of new stuff. And I think they added some other things as well. Let me go to their list. I'm telling you, when they do updates, it feels like they just drop everything in one update. And they do it almost weekly. Almost every week we get these big updates. Last week it was a full overhaul on locations. And this week it's so much stuff to do with MRMS. So they also... let's see. They also did a new feature for loading radar in low data zones. So radar can slowly load, which can help load radar during, storm chases. And then, like I said, they also added all those MRMS locations, the continental U.S., parts of Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, Caribbean, and Guam. And a bunch of other things, too. Also, some new things with 3D globes, which is for Plus subscribers. And, also smoothing and no smoothing for MRMS, too. Which is for Plus subscribers. So much stuff. So much stuff. The two big things I'm really hoping to see over the next year, I'm really hoping to see before 2026 tornado season, before March of 2026, I want to see the custom warnings to where you can change the colors of each individual upgraded warning. So you could change the color of a normal severe, a significant severe, a destructive severe, say a PDS tornado warning, a confirmed tornado warning. I want to have those hopefully to be able to change before tornado season in 2026, and maybe like 1 or 2 model runs, even if it's not like the full 10-ish model runs that Raider Omega has. Maybe just like the HRRR or something. So we'll see. We'll see what they add, but now I've fully started to use Weatherwise. That's a observed tornado warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I mean, I haven't even opened
New
Raider
information.
Omega on this live
This
stream
tornado warning has been
I haven't opened
upgraded.
it one time during this whole live stream, I think. I may have for a split second, but then probably immediately closed it. So observed tornado warning here in Staples, in central Minnesota, second tornado of the day. And it's from these light little rain showers that are likely producing just quick spin-up tornadoes. And that's due to where they are near our low pressure. So you have a lot of vorticity mixed with thunderstorms that are already in the area, mixed with, let me just check before I say it. I'm just going to check it real quick. It is, I got to find it on Mesoanalysis. Yeah, mixed with about 153 Cape. So that allows for quick spin-up tornadoes. Brief, small, quick spin-up tornadoes. And we've had multiple of them. And I do see the report on this. I don't know. Public confirmed tornado. There's also a chaser on here who also confirmed a funnel and or possible tornado on this storm. And then the public did confirm a tornado on this cell. See if we got anybody else who has reported this. Yeah, they're just going to have very small, weak areas of rotation and be able to produce tornadoes because they're close to that low pressure. Like I said, with the amount of vorticity with that low pressure, which is really, really good vorticity, obviously, because it's near a low, you're just going to be able to get a bunch of spin-up tornadoes today. Bunch of weak spin-up tornadoes. If we have a little bit more helicity, which we will towards sunset in about 4 hours, 7 o'clock, we could have a brief window between like 7 and 8:30 Eastern where there is a non-zero chance for a strong tornado. But storms may be weakening at that time. Instability is going to fall off quite quickly. And daytime heating, of course, as well. So we'll have to see. I do think there's a brief window for a strong tornado potential. Tornadoes are normal in Minnesota, yes. Although definitely don't see as many tornadoes in Minnesota as we do in like Mississippi, Alabama, or Oklahoma. Tornadoes are something we see every single year in Minnesota. Thoughts on tomorrow's tornado setup, DRG? Are you just talking about in general, like for tomorrow's enhanced risk / the 5% tornado risk? Garbage. Garbage. I don't see much of a tornado threat outside of any MCS action. I think we're going to have a good MCS that forms likely after 8 p.m. Eastern time. And there's going to be a pretty wide window between 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time where we could see a couple tornadoes in the 5% area, specifically on the east side of that 5%, right in here. But it all comes down to convective evolution, and that's not going to be something we know until tomorrow morning because there's going to be morning convection, so we need to know tomorrow afternoon, how much morning convection did we see? How good is the atmosphere destabilizing? And where did that morning convection occur? And based on that, we could see an upgrade to a moderate risk for winds tomorrow. And if we do see an upgrade for winds, that would mean a better opportunity for spin-up tornadoes because we would have a more organized line. I think a line is going to be what gives us the best threat for a tornado tomorrow. I don't think discrete storms are going to be what gives us our greatest tornado threat. I think it's going to end up being a very well organized line of severe weather that tries to drop a couple tornadoes. Girl Dev, definitely damaging winds and hail. That's the main hazards. They did issue a new Outlook discussion that I have not read yet. Let's go here. Scattered thunderstorms and severe wind gusts are expected on Wednesday from parts of the southern plains into the Great Lakes and over a small portion of the western mid-Atlantic. On Wednesday, an upper-level trough will move from the central plains across to the mid and upper Mississippi Valley, with a lead wave moving from Missouri into lower Michigan. A surface low is expected across portions of eastern Iowa into lower Michigan during the day, with a trough extending southwestward across Illinois, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Dew points into the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm just going to skim through the rest of this so I don't have to... They do mention a small tornado threat from... What? Yeah, a low tornado threat from Michigan down into Oklahoma. I think Wednesday's probably going to go 5%. I'm not too sure why they're not confident at all in a tornado threat. They say perhaps a tornado between southern Michigan and all the way back down into Oklahoma. I think we have a pretty good chance at seeing a 5% tornado risk over. Let me give you an idea of where. Depends on how clustered things are, but probably from like maybe southern Michigan back down into Illinois and Indiana. Somewhere up in this area. I think we have a good chance at a 5% tornado risk. So damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, large hail up to 2-inch in diameter, and a couple tornadoes will all be possible. However, if we do see any tornadoes, they will likely be fairly weak and fairly brief, because our trough shouldn't be very well organized. At least that's what we're thinking right now, is our trough won't be organized. And the chance of you getting a tornado, even if they upgrade it to a 5% tornado risk, the chance of you still getting a tornado in that area is very low. So, main thing is damaging winds and hail. There is that small chance that a tornado is near your area on Wednesday, but the chance that it hits you is very low. I always try to stress that with anybody who has storm anxiety or anything like that. Whenever you have whenever you have these high-end tornado setups, which this won't be a high-end tornado setup at all, but whenever you're under the gun for a tornado, even if it's a 15 significant, which is a level 4 out of 5 for tornadoes, the chance of a tornado hitting your city, going down your street and hitting your house, it's just so low. Even if you're under like a 45 significant tornado risk, it's still so low. It is still very low to get one directly over your house. Even when you're on these very high-end, ridiculous setups, it's still a very low chance. It's a much higher chance to see damaging winds and hail over tornadoes any day, in terms of severe weather. For instance, today we have a 5% tornado risk, and the wind threat is 30 significant, and the hail threat is 30 significant in two different areas. So hail and wind is just something that we will always see more of than tornadoes. Now, sometimes you can get, setups where damaging winds and hail isn't a big issue. Like right now in Minnesota, we're seeing really rain showers produce brief spin-up tornadoes. But that's what it is. It's brief spin-up tornadoes because they're not very robust thunderstorms. They're not severe. If they were severe, we would have a better chance for tornadoes out of them because there would be more robust supercells, tapping into better wind shear and instability. But they're just rain showers very close to the surface low, and they're able to produce very quick, brief spin-up tornadoes. But still, we will likely end up with more hail and wind today than tornadoes. At the moment, we have 12 wind reports and 7 hail reports, and just 1 report of a brief, weak spin-up tornado, which was located near State Highway 108 in Minnesota. That was from our observed tornado warning before we started the live stream. What's Wisconsin looking like? A lot of scattered thunderstorms. Western Wisconsin definitely has the best chance to see damaging winds and a few spin-up tornadoes, as well as some isolated large hail up to about 1.5 to 2 inch in diameter. Tomorrow, the southern portion of Wisconsin is in the best risk for wind and hail. And then Wednesday, southeast Wisconsin. So if you're in far northeast Wisconsin, that's the area that won't see much. This portion, like, let me redo that. This small portion of Wisconsin has the best chance to see nothing over the next 3 days. So, likely, if you're in, like, Madison, Green Bay, Milwaukee, La Crosse, Eagle River, you're probably not going to get much other than heavy rain and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. But if you're more west, like Frederick, Oakland, River Falls in west central Wisconsin, that's where you have a better chance for a brief spin-up tornado, large hail up to 2 inch in diameter, and some damaging winds potentially as high as 70 miles per hour in west central Wisconsin. But right now, these storms aren't very robust in Minnesota, so that's a really good sign. These storms are in a really favorable environment, and they're just simply not doing much on the wind and hail side of things. They are producing spin-up tornadoes, but not much on the wind and hail side of things. Looks like we did just get potential Tropical Cyclone 5 in the Eastern Pacific. Let's see what their cone is. Any day this wants to load. They are forecasting a hurricane. A 90 mile per hour hurricane. Making landfall. They have 1 p.m. 1 p.m. on the 19th, which I think is Thursday, correct? Yeah. So that's a, I believe a high-end Cat 1, if I'm not mistaken. 90 mile per hour winds should be a high-end Category 1 hurricane. That's what they're forecasting. That's definitely the most likely case scenario. If it slows down a bit, we could start to see a bit better opportunity for a Category 2. If it speeds up, then shoot, there is a small chance it may not even get to hurricane status. But right now, something in the middle of a Cat 2 and a tropical storm, which is a Category 1. So that's what they're forecasting. A high-end Cat 1 is what they're forecasting, which is definitely the most likely case scenario. Models are really all over the place, but every single one has it being a tropical storm. Some have it pushing major hurricane status.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So, just again to reiterate here, we're up to 2 observed tornadoes today. We've had about 16 damaging wind events and not that much hail. Yeah, we've had, my bad, 12 wind events. I think I said 16, 12, actually. Did we not have a tornado yesterday? I'm trying to think if we ever had a observed warning yesterday. I don't think we did. Oh no, we did. We had one in Montana. So we've had a tornado today, yesterday. The one on the none on the 14th, one on the 13th, and then on the 12th, 11th, 10th. 9th. Holy moly, we've almost had a tornado every day of June. Oh my goodness. Wow. June has been active every day except for June 1st and June 14th. We've had a tornado. So 14 out of the 16 days of June so far, we've had a tornado. Albeit most weak, most brief. But tornado's a tornado, man. And then, of course, we had the crazy one on the 5th in Western Texas. Dropped like literally 10 plus tornadoes in Western Texas. In my opinion, that's still the craziest tornado so far of June is the one in West Central Texas. Really early this month. And then we nearly had 2 derechos already, but neither of them have actually been confirmed as derechos. We've had multiple MCSs. It's been a very, very active June. Three tornado warnings. That's about to be down to 2 tornado warnings here. And that is our first severe storm here in north central Minnesota. 1-inch hail, 60 mile an hour severe thunderstorm warning there. Yes, we had 2 possible derechos. One that lasted all day, tracked from eastern Arkansas to northeast South Carolina. And then the very next day, the one in northern Texas. The one in the southern U.S. literally tracked from the border of Mississippi and Arkansas all the way into like west of Florence, South Carolina. And then our one in Texas, it was more significant, but it didn't track that far. I think it was from... I can't remember exactly, but it was generally from somewhere in this area to generally somewhere in this area is where it tracked to. But the one before that, the day before, much larger, longer MCS. Very intense MCS on both days, but neither of them actually confirmed as derechos. Oh, and then, yeah, we did have the one in Ohio, Pennsylvania, but that wasn't in June. I was talking about the 2 in June. The one in Pennsylvania, was that April? I think it was sometime in April. I don't know. Bad memory, man. Tornado season just flies right by. Just flies right by, man.
A
April
new tornado
29th.
warning has been issued.
Yep. 3rd tornado warning, so we got down to 2 for a minute. Back up to 3 tornado warnings. All out here in Minnesota. A bit busy, buddy. That is a big understatement. It was a very active tornado season. Definitely above average for the main peak of tornado season. Now, we'll have to see where everything settles out by the time we're done with hurricane season in second season. But we'll probably finish a little above average overall for our tornado count. Not too sure where we are at the moment. Let's see. See if I remember how to check this. I don't think I do. Let's see here. I know the SBC has a specific graph. I think it's here. I don't know where it is. This is everything for like today's risks and climatology. I can't find any graphs for like our entire tornado season yet. Let's see. Maybe it was the CPC. Ah, I'll find it eventually. I'll find it eventually. Maybe. Near 1,000 tornadoes. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. TRG, I want a genuine thought on Wednesday for my area. That doesn't mean you say light rain at maxed. I wouldn't say that, Caleb. Blue skies. That's like the most you'll see. There's a small chance for a cloud or two, but blue skies. I wouldn't call for rain. Man, that's too outrageous. Let me see. It just depends on how fast our trough is. If our trough is fast, storms may not fire until they get to your east. If our trough is slow, they could fire right over your house. Either way, it's very scattered for your area, so I think you will end up with likely rain. But whether or not it's full-blown severe storms or not is going to depend completely on how fast our trough is. Best case scenario for you as a storm chaser, you could definitely see some cool looking clouds. There is definitely a chance for a spin up tornado, albeit very low, and it will likely be to your east, but it's not impossible. But then again, you are a mod, so you're likely going to have a dome over your house. But you could see 1.5 inch hail, 60 mile an hour winds, and I wouldn't fully rule out a spin up tornado somewhere in central Illinois or eastern Illinois. I think next year will be insane for some reason. Well, we got to get through winter first. We got to get through hurricane season, then we got to get through winter 2026 before we get into tornado season. But yeah, like I think Capabar just said it. Let me see, or was it Ben? It was Ben. I think above average is our new average. There you go. That's what's gonna describe it. But eventually, we're gonna get a below average tornado season. It will happen probably sometime in the next century. But we will see a below average tornado season again eventually. But right now, we are in a stretch where the new normal is a well above average tornado season and an above average hurricane season with an above average winter season. The new normal is everything is above average.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning extended into Eagle Bend and Bertha in central Minnesota. So none of these are observed, but there is 4 radar indicated tornado warnings, and it's very difficult to see exactly how much they're rotating right now. There are some updrafts that have shockingly failed. Are the lower level lapse rates like garbage or something? I haven't checked lower level lapse rates, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've not looked at those. Get some lunch? Buddy, you're like 5 hours late on lunch. What? Hello? Oh, wow. Yeah. I found the bust mode. I found what's going to make today not perform to what models are saying. I don't think it's going to be a complete bust. We've already seen 2 tornadoes, so... In my opinion, 2-3 tornadoes, that's what nearly verifies a 5% tornado risk, depending on how large the 5% is. But yeah, there you go. That's what's going to help today underperform. Because let me show you what the NAM had. This is what the NAM has for right now. Let's go ahead and switch that, switch that, switch that, close that. This is what the NAM has for right now. Multiple different thunderstorms firing across Minnesota. And then in an hour, they all grow upscale rapidly. And then in 2 hours, we start to peak. So I still believe 6 o'clock to about 9 o'clock will be peak. But man, I don't know what this is, but I doubt this is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to happen. Look at the updraft Elicity tracks, dude. I don't think we will see much south of the Twin Cities in terms of tornado activity, but I do think we could see still a couple tornadoes today. I do believe we're going to end up with a few more tornadoes, possibly a strong tornado towards sunset in Minnesota into northwest Wisconsin. And I think this is going to be the main area now. Right in here is probably going to be our main area for today. Now that those storms have already become well established, produced at least 2 tornadoes and already a severe storm there. That should be where our main activity is. The ARRR shows a very, very potent setup for tornadoes on Wednesday across Illinois and Indiana. This is the newest ARRR. Not much initiation because it's very early on, but you can see already one cell firing there southwest of Chicago at 2 p.m. And a couple little whispers of convection around that. But it's actually what's under this that is quite impressive. Very large open warm sector of 2,000 to 3,000 instability across much of Illinois, all the way back down into Oklahoma. Very sharp, large open warm sector with a good low pressure in eastern Iowa. Upper level wind shear, very, very strong mid and upper level wind shear across Illinois and western, northwestern Indiana. Lower level wind shear, still a bit of an ouch. Not a lot of good lower level wind shear on the ARRR. That will probably improve with time later on in the day as your trough gets a bit stronger. Dew points into the low to even as high as the mid 70s there. And then also temperatures into the low to mid 80s. So really, really nice setup for all significant severe hazards there. Lower level wind shear, like I said, definitely a bit of a doozy there in Illinois. Not a lot with southern and southeast extent, but still a very potent setup for severe weather portrayed by the ARRR there for Wednesday. Definitely wouldn't be shocked if we see a couple tornadoes in this area. But I feel like over-convection is probably going to limit our overall tornado threat. I don't think it will be a big tornado day. I think over-convection will be able to limit it to some extent. Why is Lucky calling me? Hi. Good morning. Is there a storm near you? Storm. Man, that's just a light rain shower. I've gotten like 20 of those over the last 3 days. It's not even a rain shower? That's a really cool rain shaft. Hello, Pete. It's Scud, Lucky. There's not going to be a tornado in North Carolina. Sweet. It does look cool. That's about all you get in North Carolina is some cool looking clouds. That's it. Are you going to have time to call tonight or still busy? Jeez. Dude, you're cooked. All right, well, I'll talk to you next year. Jeez. Oh, well, probably not even then either. I'll talk to you in 2029. I'll talk to you whenever. Lucky says bye, chat. All right, see you later. His dude. Yeah, he's busy for the next 3 days straight. That's why I was surprised he was calling me. It's because he's got a cool looking cloud. Weatherwise? Okay, I wasn't clicked on weatherwise. It's on my end, not weatherwise. Alright, tornado warning has been canceled for Staples and west of Montley in central Minnesota. Still a tornado warning remaining in effect for Parker's Prairie, Eagle Bend, Bertha, as well as just west of Poplar in Minnesota. I think the main tornadic storm at the moment is this